Good morning, folks. It is about 6:20 a.m. Quite a chilly morning, actually. I guess that's to be expected, being camped down in this little kind of wash in this gully. Slept with the tent outer door open all night. It was actually all right. Wasn't cold. Very, very still night though. Very still. And as such, there is a nice layer of condensation inside the tent this morning. As you can see over there, Pink Panther has left already. She went maybe 10-15 minutes ago, and Centipede is just packing up now in the tent. So I did say to them, don't worry about me. If you guys want to set off early, I can catch up. So I get to sit here and enjoy my coffee. And I'm not going to say enjoy, but eat my lemon poppy seed boba bar. Controversial choice, but I prefer the coconut ones. Centipede is having foot pain again and a bit of knee pain as well. We're just hoping we can get to Wrightwood in time to see Blaze, who is the physiotherapist that basically she travels up and down the PCT. Well, usually just up. So she's been in Idlewild for quite a long time. And then she's got a van, she travels up and bases herself in another town, and obviously sees all the hikers coming through that have got the foot problems and things. So she's very good at what she does. I believe she's a thru-hiker herself. And we're hoping we can get there in time to get an appointment with her on Saturday for Centipede. But my hands are actually really cold at the moment. It's a very chilly morning. I'm surprised. It was quite a mild night last night. We were just sat down behind the tents over there, just sat by the little stream, having our meal, listening to the frogs. But definitely going to get some coffee inside me and get warmed up, and then I shall contemplate making an effort to move somewhere. I think we go by Silverwood Lake today. I'm pretty sure it's Silverwood Lake. And I do remember last time I was there in 2019, it was a really grey, cold day, and I didn't really enjoy it all that much. So I'm hoping that it's going to be the complete opposite of that today, and it's going to be nice and warm and blue skies. So that's something to look forward to. What an absolutely beautiful morning. I've just left camp. I've only come like a few tenths of a mile away from camp. Even though I showed you all those people that were camped down there yesterday or last night, and even though it's only 7:30 a.m, which is early for me, I was the last one out. Nobody else there. There was people walking past my tent at like 5 and 5:30 with head torches on, probably even earlier than that actually. So I am officially Mr. Lazy of the trail, but I don't mind. I don't mind starting this sort of time or even a little later. I know I can get the miles done if I need to during the rest of the day. One thing I've been getting better at and been managing better is my water load. I know I'm kind of in darkness in this shot, sorry. I'm going to be coming into the sunlight shortly. But yeah, managing water loads. So before, when I got to a water source, because it was a water source, I was just like, load up. And I was getting pretty much everything I could carry, like 2.7 litres. And just the last few days I've been like, well, no, I don't need to carry that much. It's pointless. I'm just carrying water from one water source to another water source. It's just ridiculous. So, whilst water is quite readily available, as it has been the last couple of days, I'm just carrying less. It makes more sense. The pack feels great. I just folded my food bag up this morning, put it inside, and it's like, wow, there's not a great deal left in that food bag. So the good news is that I'm eating a decent amount. Probably, to be honest with you, it's still not enough, especially on an evening. But no, at least I'm eating, and the food bag's going down. I think I've got this section pretty much nailed food-wise. We've got about 28 miles to the McDonald's at Cajon Pass, the famous McDonald's on the PCT. That'll be a good feed there, either McDonald's, Subway, Taco Bell. There's a taco stand there that is supposed to be very, very good, and a fruit stand as well. And then after that, it's only like, I think because of the closure, the fire closure, it's only kind of like 12, 13 miles into Wrightwood. So, yeah, I've definitely got enough food for this section. Just seen a little hummingbird at the side. Well, actually, it was quite a big hummingbird at the side of the trail. I was just trying to zoom in. The one thing about this camera, the one limitation, is the zoom on it. For things like wildlife, it's pretty useless, to be honest with you. You know, you can zoom in and get a close-up of a flower or something like that, but if it's something that's going to potentially run away or move, yeah, it's not great. So that's one thing I do miss, is not being able to get any decent footage of things like that hummingbird. That would have been absolutely brilliant to get a slow motion shot of that hummingbird. I shall have to try harder. I have noticed that when you sit on your brake, if you just sit there kind of quietly, it's actually really surprising what comes up close to you, especially bird-wise. So keep your eyes open. Maybe I'll get lucky and get some nice footage of a hummingbird or something like that. But so far, it's been no dice. I wonder if that peak in the distance with a bit of snow on the top of it is Mount Baden-Powell, because that's our next major peak, and we climb that just after Wrightwood, I believe. So that would kind of make sense to me. And look who I've caught up, if you can make them out. Pink panther and centipede there. Just to give you some perspective on different people's abilities. Obviously this is day 25 for me on the trail, And as we talked about as I talked about yesterday, I started off pretty fast and I've slowed down a lot. So I'm at a mile, let's just say 3:15, something like that, just for argument's sake. I can't remember the exact number I'm at the moment. Let's say 3:15. Yesterday, we met a guy who was attempting a calendar year Triple Crown. Now, he's about the third one we've run across this trip that's attempting that. And if you don't know what that is, basically the Triple Crown of hikes in the USA, it's the Pacific Crest Trail, which I'm on, the AT, which is the Appalachian Trail on the East Coast, and then it's the CDT, the Continental Divide Trail. Now, I don't know the exact numbers of the distances of those. Obviously, the Pacific Crest Trail is roughly 650 miles. For some reason, I think the AT is like 1800 or 1900. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments. And the CDT, I believe, is the longest. I think that's maybe something around 2800. Again, I'm sure somebody will put the numbers in the comments for me. Thank you. But the important thing to note there is calendar year. So these guys are trying to do these 3 hikes in one calendar year. Now that, to me, I mean, people do it, definitely, but it's just insane. It's crazy. The speed you've got to move across those terrains, you don't have any choice about weather, you can't stay in towns long. That requires some serious mental and physical grit. And yesterday, when we met this guy, bearing in mind, roughly mile 310-ish, maybe a little bit less than that, when we met him, it was his 8th day on the PCT, starting out from Campo, day 8. He'd got, in 8 days, the same distance it's taken me 25 days to do. So that's just a little bit of perspective on different people's abilities. I know that's an extreme situation because there's not many people that do that, but he'd already hiked about 3,000 miles this year. So he's got the benefit of what a lot of people call trail legs already. He's like dialed in. So yeah, pretty impressive if you ask me. Something I'm sure that I would never be able to do. Because I wouldn't have, I said to the girls yesterday, I like my towns too much. I wouldn't be able to move that fast. It's going to be a roaster today. It's going to be so hot. I can tell already. It's like not even 9 o'clock and I'm already sweating like mad. Should be nice when we get to Silverwood Lake. We just left the water source at about mile 318. Met 2 Swedish girls there. One whose trail name was Marmot. The other one, I'm very sorry, but I can't remember her trail name. I think it was Salt something or something like that. As you all know, I'm very bad with names. They started, when did they say they start? They said they started on April 9th, and they, in their own words, like towns and like to not kill ourselves walking. So, ooh, look at that, nice and open. Helicopter buzzing about. Unfortunately, Pink Panther, when I caught up to them this morning, was a bit upset. She's gone over on her ankle. She said there's no pain at the moment, but something like that, when you're out on something like this, really does play on your mind and worry you, because it can happen so easily. She seems to be walking okay at the moment. She's taken some ibuprofen. She's got some tiger balm that she's put on it. And when we stopped at the water source as well, she even soaked her foot for a while in the cold water. So that's pretty much all she can do while she's out on trail. We're just gonna, I just said to her, if it starts hurting, please say something. It's so easily done. And something like that can put an end or severely curtail your hike. So it just got to her a little, just shook her a little bit, I think. But she seems to be doing all right now. She's in front of me. Not seen any of these for a while, and thanks to people out there on YouTube, I now know that they are wild cucumbers, and they are certainly not edible. There's one there, and then there's a little grouping of them down here somewhere. This little clump of plants is quite interesting, actually. Got these really nice, like, red flowers there. You got the wild cucumbers, and then you got these little things right down at the bottom. They're quite pretty. And then you got this stuff, which seems to be attracting a lot of the insect life. And it smells absolutely beautiful as well. I just joked to Centipede that I was going to stick some in my armpits and see if it made me smell any better. So I've just been videoing some lovely bees in slow motion on some plants, you know, working, and I come around the corner and this is what I find. Just this thing laid under this bush here. Disgusting. So we're at mile 322.6. I don't know if you can make it out. It was really obvious a minute ago, but it's the wind's changed now. But there's a fire over there on the ridgeline, or just behind the ridgeline somewhere. There's been a helicopter buzzing about monitoring it for the last sort of 10 or 15 minutes. Obviously I can't see over the ridge, so I don't know what type of fire it is or how big. But yeah, there's a like a decent bit of smoke coming up. There's definitely a little plume of smoke coming up there. But it is just so hot today. You can see where we've walked from this morning, all across this range of hills, worked our way all the way across it. It's been nice, to be honest with you. It's definitely hot. Definitely the hottest I've been for, well, even beats yesterday, definitely. This is mile 323.5. We've just had a little break under a bush for some shade. Look at this whacking great dam in front of us, just like a huge rock wall. It's kind of strange seeing that after all we've been looking at all morning is kind of vegetation like this, and you just come round, you literally come round the corner and bang, it just hits you right in the face. And I was just reaching for the camera and that helicopter appeared flying right over the top of it. So it's actually the sheriff, or the sheriff's helicopter. That's what it said on the tail section anyway. But yeah, that's quite an impressive construction. The scale won't really come across on the camera, but let me tell you, it's pretty blooming big. So there's the dam again. Just walked up across the bridge and over the road. And it's going to sound stupid, but it even looks hot now when you look across there. And then we've just come across these things. We've just had a break under a bush covered in ants. But would have been quite nice maybe to go into one of these large sections of pipe. Looks nice and shaded in there. Quite strange seeing these just sat here, to be honest, like this. In the middle of the desert. Right, we've just reached Silverwood Lake, caught Pink Panther up, and three ladies we bumped into earlier, all from Washington. They were down on one of the beaches, and whilst it does look extremely picturesque here, the water is pretty gross. It's a lot of trash and rubbish. I mean, you can just see here, look at all this, just dumped. It's pretty disgusting, really. Such a beautiful area. I'll try and show you what it's like when we climb a little bit, but it's a really, really nice outlook. It looks like it just gets absolutely hammered with trash and stuff like that. As soon as we walked up to it, there was like a big pile of broken glass, empty sunscreen bottles, bits of clothing, just there at the side of the trail. It's a real shame. Hopefully, I think we're kind of working our way across around the side of the lake, and there's like you might be able to make it out from here. There's like a covered picnic area with some gazebos at the other side of the lake. I think we may be working our way over to them. And then down here you can see this big group of people is the family of 9 that are famously hiking the PCT this year. That is not a job that I would like to be doing, especially not in this heat. Alright folks, so what you see down there is the Cajon picnic ground. It's slightly off trail. It's like 0.2 miles down this dirt road. But it does have that nice sheltered area which gives you some nice shade on a day like this. It's got running water that you don't need to filter, and it's got toilets, flush toilets as well, not pit toilets. So it's a nice little stop. Definitely worth the 0.2 mile walk down. Things have changed a little bit. The original plan was obviously to get all 3 of us to Wrightwood by before 5 p.m. on Friday night, so the girls could get the packages from the post office. Centipede is continuing to have pain with her feet and legs and knees, and really does need to get to Wrightwood without doing any more damage to herself, or as little damage to herself as possible. So what Pink Panther suggested was for them to get to Cajon Pass, which is roughly from here like 14 miles, 15 miles, something like that. And then basically that's like a big road interchange. It's like a big gas station stop on the freeway, if you like, on the highway. So they're just going to either probably get an Uber from there to Wrightwood. So that's going to get them into Wrightwood. Tomorrow, which is Thursday, probably, I would guess, towards tomorrow evening, late afternoon. And obviously it involved them skipping a tiny section of hiking, which is all uphill. I don't want to do that. They're both prepared to come back and hike that section at some point in the future. Obviously, I'm not going to fly from the UK to hike a 10 or 15 mile section. While I'm here, I'm going to hike it. So, somewhere around 4 p.m-ish, and I am setting off on my own now towards Cajon Pass. I'm going to push as much as I can tonight, get as much done towards that tonight as I can, and then tomorrow I would hope that I would also arrive in Wrightwood, possibly a little before the girls, or around the same time, depending on how far I walk tonight. I've already walked roughly 15 or 16 miles today, so I guess I get my wish and I get to do a little bit of a challenge again. Interesting development, but it makes the most sense for Centipede. She's got to get herself sorted out. The only other thing is that the physio Blaze isn't going to be in Wrightwood until sometime on Saturday, and so Centipede can't see her until Sunday. I just want Amelia to be able to get herself sorted out, I really do. Because I know it is really, really frustrating her. I know mentally she can do it, and I know she's got the physical traits to do it, but at the moment her body is not letting her, even though she's pushing it. I mean, let's face it, she's walked 15 miles today in the scorching hot sun with a pretty heavy pack, so she's doing pretty well, and I know towards the end of those 15 miles she was in quite a bit of pain as well, so good on her for pushing through that. The desert has really, really surprised me, just with the variety of plants that are on show and the colours as well. Not only that, the smells. That particular one I talked about earlier, I can smell it in the air now. The one with the really fine little flowers that kind of look like brush heads. I think there's one coming up here. I'll show you again. You get like a light coloured version of it like that, and then there's one, whether it's the same thing or not but a different colour flower, or whether it's slightly different, it seems to me almost like a bluey pinky colour, but the smell from them, it's almost like inhaling pollen. It's really strong. There's a beautiful spray of colour up here of both of them that you can probably make out. In fact, you can see it all the way up the hillside above me, but this one here, look at the colours on there. Oh, that's some of the best contrast I've seen yet. I hope it comes out on the camera with the ND filter. Right, I've had the camera out loads of times, but I kept forgetting to tell you, just in case you were interested, the fire we saw this morning, or earlier today, it turns out that was a controlled burn and part of a training exercise. I completely forgot to mention it. I'm climbing up this very lush looking valley. The sun, the only word I've got for it is merciless. It's absolutely merciless. I'm glad I put some more suntan cream on before I set out from the shelter, I'm pretty sure the other coating I put on earlier today will have been burnt off by now. Oh man, I'll tell you something. This pace is very refreshing. I've got to admit, I do enjoy it. Right, we got a new view to look at. Might get slightly better when I get around this next corner. Just stopped at that water source. It was flowing nicely. There's two people there gathering some nice, crisp, cold water. Extremely refreshing when it's like that. Really nice. Just had a couple of minutes chatting with them about feet and shoes. Seems to be one of the hot topics on the trail. Ultra versus Topo. What about Hoka? All that sort of thing. But yep, new little view there for you. Time for another update. It's 6:10 and I'm at mile 335.6. Kind of identified somewhere where I'd like to get to at least this evening. I just looked at the map and I'm not sure if the map's wrong or not, but it's saying it's only 1.8 miles ahead. It's just a pipe gate, which basically, for those who don't know, is just a gate made out of pipe. That's why it's called a pipe gate. I was a bit confused. It's not a term I'm familiar with in the UK. But, hello mate, all right. There's quite a few people camped here, and they obviously think I'm somebody else. But yeah, I'm headed for the pipe gate. It's at the top of the climb, and that should leave me nothing but downhill to do to McDonald's tomorrow morning. That'll be quite nice. It's funny, yeah, obviously the people back there thought I was somebody else, because I just heard them shouting like, yeah, you made it. They're probably looking for a girl that I passed just a few minutes ago. And I think she had headphones in, but she was singing at the top of her lungs. It wasn't too bad either, actually. It was pretty good. Made me chuckle, so yeah. Anything that puts a smile on your face this time of day is good in my book. But it's just that little area past there. A lot more camp spots than what there is marked on far out. So that makes me hopeful for my chances over this ridge. Basically, there's only like 1 or 2 camp spots marked on the app after this pipe gate. So, as I say, from memory, I shouldn't have much trouble finding somewhere in a decent location to put the tent. Legs. Ooh. Not seen any of those for a while. Oh, God, even bending down this time of night is difficult. There's loads of them. I got so used to seeing them, and then not seen any for ages. But it must be kind of coming up to the time for them to flower. Seems to be a lot more open now. Just near the top of the ascent to the pipe gate, and check out this view. Look at that. That's why hiking this time of night is the best time of day to hike. And there's another hiker here, Sunshine, met him the other day. He's got a front row seat here. He's going to cowboy right here. Just hope he doesn't roll off the edge. You know what? It's been a pretty long day today. For me anyway. I started, you know, by my standards, it's been quite a long day today. And obviously I'm still walking now. My legs really ache, and actually it does feel pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. But I was just coming through this valley where I've been hiking the last hour or so, and it's pretty underwhelming to say the least. You know, I'm not going to say that it's not very nice scenery, but I was starting to feel a little bit like I did if you watched my first video towards the end of the day. Just basically starting to feel really tired, really like down. And I came around the corner, and that view back there just literally appeared. And I was just gobstruck. It was stunning, absolutely stunning. And it's so hard to describe. It literally feels like it's energized me. And now all I want to do is like get to the top of this climb and see it again from a different perspective. I hope it's a similar view, and I really hope I can find somewhere to sleep looking down at that tonight, because that is something special. I've not had many really nice sunsets and sunrises yet on this trail. I'm sure there's some to come. That's just a matter of numbers. There has to be some to come. But this is pretty awesome. You probably won't be able to see it because of the sun, but I think this is the pipe gate. Wow. I was kind of hoping if I got to the top of the ridge, obviously I wouldn't be out of the line of sight of the sun anymore. And if I can just make it round here. Whoa. Just when you're questioning things, just when you're starting to flag and when you're starting to doubt, bang, there it is. Literally smacks you right in the face and gives you just what you need. Just like a little psychological kick in the head. That's all I can describe it as. Yeah, that's nice. You ready for it? I genuinely can't stop smiling. I'm absolutely loving this. It's just beautiful. Good evening, everyone. It is about 8 p.m. Literally just finished walking for the day, so that's over a 12-hour day for me today. I think I've done around about 28 miles, but I need to check on it. I am 1.1 miles away from Cajon Pass Highway, where you go to the McDonald's. I've been trying to find somewhere to put the tent, and it's been really, really difficult. I've not been able to find anywhere. You kind of like ridge walking a lot of the time. But I've come down into this little kind of like drainage basin. It's the kind of place you would come to get rid of a body if you had a body to get rid of. That's the best way I can describe it. There's a few shotgun shells lying around, some broken bottles. But I've got this little spot here. This is about as flat as, and you know, like I'm not going to disturb a great deal of stuff there. The only other option I thought was there's actually a hotel at Cajon Pass. I could have gone down to that. It would have cost me $100 for the night. But as I'm about to be going into the town, into Wrightwood, I won't do that. I'll save my money. It's quite a cool little area, actually. It's like, it reminds me very much of the Badlands in South Dakota. Kind of like a miniature version of that, with all these little sand dunes and things. But you can tell people come down here for shooting practice. There's cartridges and this bit of metal's like peppered with bullet holes and stuff like that. So hopefully no one comes down here with a gun tonight. That'd be nice. Otherwise I probably won't be getting McDonald's in the morning. But yeah, I need to get the tent up while there's still a bit of light remaining in the sky. So that's probably going to be it for me tonight, guys. I'm pretty tired. I am actually very thirsty. I ran out of water on the front bottle a little while ago, so I'm going to get the tent put up and have a drink and then get some shut-eye. But there's just a little bit of light remaining in the sky over there, and you can see maybe you made out the vehicles passing in the distance there on the highway. So I'm very close to my goal indeed. Good night, folks.